Where would we be without corn? This is a celebration and a Thanksgiving celebration of corn. This is part of a festival. What do you do in a festival? You eat. You eat.
Welcome, this is the Mexico Kitchen. It's our last day and we are simultaneously preparing 3 different dishes. Over here we're milling grain for tortillas. In the back we have some chicken going on for some Mayan tamales. And over here the Wirarica women are preparing a barbecue that they're getting ready to cook at noon.
I have loved being in the kitchen because I get to see people from a lot of different groups. Instead of being in one area of the festival and only interacting with one group every day, I get to interact with people from almost all of the groups. So that's been really great.
And for me as a Mexican citizen, well, it's been a mixture of emotions. For one, I get to show the world about my country. I also have been learning different cuisines that I didn't know about.
Every day we have some new recipes that we're doing.
So the process for the nixtamal is you take the dry corn, which we had a huge sack of, you wash it and with water and the impurities will rise to the top. That's when you remove them. So it's a sort of self-selecting process. And then you will use about twice as much water, slightly less than twice as much water to cover the corn. And then you add Codex hydrated lime, which in Spanish we call cal. And you bring it to a very soft boil for about 30 minutes to an hour. What this process does is it removes the outer skinny thin layer of the corn kernel, and that makes it easier to grind. And it also preserves the corn, and I think it even adds to the nutritional element, because in Mexico they advertise it as you can eat your tortillas because there's no carbs in them. The hydrated lime has helped you with that. So.
After the corn has been boiled with the cal and the water, let it cool and rinse it. The cal has loosened the outer layer, like Monica was saying, but you still have to rinse it and rub it between your hands to get that layer, that kind of skin layer to come off of the corn. And it'll change colors. It'll change from white, then when you cook it, it turns a
bright yellow,
and then when you take the skin off, it turns back to white again. And then the next step after that is to grind it. And we've been using a hand grinder. But traditionally they would use a mano and a metate, which is a large stone with a smaller other stone. And then once you grind it, you have your corn flour, and you can mix it with some water and work those together, and you've got masa.
Tortillas, tamales, what we call in Mexico vitamin T. Tortilla, tamal, tlayuda, anything that you want. Everything with the T. We have had people grinding corn. We have had people making tortillas, making gorditas. So we keep telling them it's just to encourage them to go home and make it.
Yeah. I think that they have learned to make some adaptations and to be okay with those adaptations. There are certain things that we just can't do in this kitchen the same ways that they do at home. For example, at noon they're going to be cooking with charcoal, whereas at home they keep saying they would just be using firewood.
They're good cooks.
Yeah.
I've been working over in the agriculture tent, and some of the women have been coming over and making tortillas, and so I just come over and hang out with them for a little while.
And it's interesting to see when they come in, when one group comes in to prep for their presentation and another group is already working. It's fun to see them kind of look and see like, oh, they're doing this differently than I would do it. Yeah. Like with the tortillas, they all make tortillas differently. They all have their own way of making tortillas. All the people from all the different regions, and so and the mole. Like today we have 3 different types of mole from 3 different places. Yeah.
And last week we had someone who came in and tasted a mole from a different region and said, oh, that mole is no good. It needs this and this and this, right? And then if you talk to the people who had done that mole, they're like, what do you mean you put no? So it's been beautiful in that they're really learning from each other. I'm from central Mexico, so I'm learning from other regions. It's just great, really, really great.